Hey everyone, and welcome to Bite Size Tactics. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Repulsor Executioner, the massive gunboat for the Space Marine Army. Starting with the profile as always, the Repulsor Executioner has a movement of 10 inches, toughness 12, 3 plus armor save, 16 wounds, 6 plus leadership, an OC of 5, and currently costs 220 points. Now looking at the keywords, it does have the smoke keyword, so it can use that smoke stratagem. The vehicle keyword will be important for abilities and strategies throughout the game, and it also has a transport keyword as well, which will again be important for abilities and stratagems. With the abilities, it has the Deadly Demise D6 ability, and finally the inbuilt ability called Executioner. So when this unit attacks a model that is below half strength, you add 1 to the hit roll. Now looking at the weapons for the Repulsor Executioner, there are a lot of them. So currently, when you get it, it is equipped with the Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon, which has the Devastating Wounds ability, has 12 attacks, strength 6, 0 AP and 1 damage, and this can take care of all sorts of infantry that you'll come across on the tabletop. It also has the Repulsor Executioner Defense Array. This has 10 attacks, strength 4, 0 AP and 1 damage, but really only good for killing those light infantry units that you'll see around. It has a twin heavy bolter. This has a twin linked and sustained hits 1 abilities at strength 5, minus 1 AP and 2 damage. Again, great for killing infantry. And then there is the Macro Plasma Incinerator. It has 2 variants, as it can be supercharged because it's a plasma weapon. At a standard, it has the blast ability D6 plus 1 shots, strength 8, minus 3 AP and 2 damage. At supercharged, it has the blast ability still, and you'll need to take a hazardous test. It still has D6 plus 1 attacks, but now at strength 9, minus 4 AP and a flat 3 damage. So this is just great at killing pretty much any toughness enemy that you'll come across. It will still struggle into the toughness 10 and above, but any kind of infantry you come across, mounted, light armored vehicles or monsters, it should just pick it up if you get enough attacks. Finally, for the ranged weapons, it has the Twin Icarus Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. This has Anti-Fly 4 plus, Rapid Fire 3, and the twin linked abilities, Strength 4, 0 AP and 1 damage, and again just another little weapon good for dealing damage into light infantry units. For combat, it has the Armored Hull, but it won't do too much damage to your enemy, but you might take out a few light infantry models. Now we're not quite done with the weapons yet, as you can equip the Iron Hail Heavy Stubber. This has Rapid Fire 3 ability, and again just another bonus at killing light infantry units. And you can also add the Icarus Rocket Pod, which has Anti-Fly 2 plus, D3 shots, strength 8 at minus 1 AP and 2 damage. So not a lot of shots, but it could be helpful against some infantry, especially if they've got the fly keyword, and maybe deal a wound or two to some armored vehicles or monsters as well. And finally, you can exchange the Macro Plasma Incinerator for a Heavy Las Destroyer. This will have the heavy ability, and it will come with 2 attacks at strength 16 minus 4 AP and does D6 plus 4 damage. Now this is really great if you want to start killing those high toughness enemies that you'll come across and be a massive threat on the battlefield for all sorts of different units that you'll come across. When looking at the weaknesses for the Repulsor Executioner, it should be no surprise that this unit is going to be a massive threat to your enemy, and so you're going to be targeted by a lot of different shooting options and possibly combat options that your opponent will have in their army list. So you need to be careful of your terrain, being move blocked, and also take into account the size of your model, especially as your opponent is going to be looking for a lot of different firing options to take out the Repulsor Executioner, again, as it is a massive threat, as it can not only be a useful transport, but a massive independent gunboat. Also, you do need to be aware of the high AP, high damage weapons, as that will be very problematic for you, as you want the Repulsor Executioner to be alive and functioning for as long as possible. Also, just take note that when between 1 to 5 wounds remaining, your model is degraded and you will be minus 1 to hit when attacking. Now, some of the strengths that we just touched on, the Repulsor Executioner has a lot of guns and a lot of different damage outputs with those weapons, and it can kill a variety, pretty much any kind of toughness enemy that you will come across on the tabletop or that your opponent is going to have. It does have a decent transport capacity as well, so you can get troops further up the field, and this is more of an added bonus rather than how this unit could be useful in the game. However, I must say it does have great durability in its own profile with toughness of 12 and 16 wounds, and you should always be able to get the benefit of cover, hopefully as long as you place the Repulsor Executioner somewhere smartly. It's also a great utility piece for mission play, and the troops inside can score you a lot of primary or secondary points, and so this model can be massive for the game state and how you play the army. Now let's focus on the transport aspect of the Repulsor Executioner for a second. So the capacity is 6 models with the infantry keyword. However, each Wolfen, Jump Pack, Gravisword, Terminator model with those keywords take up 2 spots each, while Centurion keyword models will take up to 3 spots each. So really what you're looking to use are those basic infantry models with either Tacticus or Phobos, as you can get more inside. However, this is a fantastic transport across all the different chapters that Space Marines have available to them and all detachments that I've currently seen. Now, when looking at the mission play of the Repulsor Executioner, this unit is fantastic for bullying units off objectives and then replacing it with your own to hold the objective and possibly score secondary points by doing actions on those objectives. And then primary, as you can hold it for more turns. And this is really good for those intercessor squads, as you can take an objective, possibly sticky it, and then move on to do other things. Or you could have a cheap unit of assault intercessors inside, and if the Repulsor Executioner for some reason doesn't kill whatever is on it, I guarantee that any infantry will probably be mauled by the assault intercessor squad, as they have a lot of attacks. Or if worse comes to worse, tank shock them. This unit can then act as an independent gunboat, and that is still a massive threat to your opponent. So the transport really is an added bonus here that we want to utilize, while we want to take the damage output from this model and rain hell on your opponent, essentially. You want to be taking out any mission playing pieces that they give you, or damaging any high toughness enemy models that come into your firing lane. Again, it's really great in all forms of detachment. Possibly the Firestorm Assault Force would be really good for the transport stratagems, or the Gladius Strike Force, or again the Iron Storm Detachment could be really good as well, because vehicles get extra bonuses. Now for my verdict, I think this unit is absolutely terrific. It's a great gunboat, it can bully units off objectives, and then you can steal that objective and then do actions, or just score primary from that unit being on there, whilst also defending it with the Repulsor Executioner. And then depending on the loadout, you could also kill off high toughness enemies as well, and be more of a threat to your opponent and a headache that they're going to have to contend with. So I do think this unit is quite useful, and it has a lot of gameplay on the tabletop for any kind of player, whether you be a beginner, intermediate, or an advanced elite player. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, click the like button. Comment whether you think the Repulsor Executioner is, again, a fantastic little gunboat, or if you prefer something else. And if you like the content, subscribe for more.